Namaste my fellow strikers, Holy Materia here, back with another Shinobi Striker video. Today we're going to be talking about the Heavenly Whirlwind build, so let's get right into it. Okay, so this is one of my new favorite range builds I've been using for the last couple days. This one, like a lot of range builds, is like it's sort of a support build, so it's much better if you coordinate it with your teammates. But this build actually has one-shot potential if you do it just right. Now you guys know me, I don't really promote one-shot builds, but this one generally isn't a one-shot build. But if you get it just right, it can one-shot people. But it has to be perfect, so it's not like cheesy. But when you do get it off right, it's like really satisfying. But yeah, so let's get right into the build. So for the first jutsu, we're going to be using Heavenly Hand Power. So this one has a 16-second cooldown, has a 0 in power and a 4 in range. We're just going to be using this for ease of use. If you're good at landing seal tags without this, you can change this jutsu, but we're going to use this for consistency and because you can use it to just finish people off really quick because of how we're going to set up our build. So it says a visual jutsu activated by the rinnegan that lets the user instantaneously switch with any space of their choosing. When targeting an enemy, the user will immediately switch places with the enemy. So yeah, we're going to be using this to swap them into our ninja tool, but we'll get more into that later. Okay, so then for the second ninjutsu, we're going to be using the Wind Scythe jutsu. So this one has a 2 in power and a 4 in range. It has a 20-second cooldown. It says creates 4 tornadoes which hone in on targets close by to inflict damage and blast them up into the air. User and allies can launch themselves into the air as well if they touch that tornado. So the important thing here to note is that it hones in on targets that are close by. So this move has one-shot potential if there's only one target close to you, because all the tornadoes will hone in on that one enemy. But if there are other enemies around, then they won't hone it. They'll like go separate ways and go attack other people. But you can still like kind of touch of death it with like by comboing people up, but it's not as consistent. Now these two jutsu are important for the build. They're crucial for the build, or at least the Wind Scythe one. The sub and the ultimate is up to you, but these are just like the two best things right now, so these are what I'm using. So I'm using the time space hop for the sub, has a 25-second cooldown. It says a jutsu that uses Rinne Sharingan to teleport and avoid enemy attacks. After use, ninjutsu cooldown time reduced and user is invulnerable to attack for a period of time. So this will help us get our jutsu back faster, and it's just the best sub in the game. And then for the ult, we're using the Wind Style Sea Dragon. I think this is the best range ult right now in the game, and it's my favorite by far. So this one has a 5 in power and a 3 in duration, so you get it quickly too. It says this jutsu generates an enormous tornado which continuously pulls in enemies. Those inside the tornado will take damage and remain trapped for a certain period of time. Multiple enemies can be sucked in at once. So yeah, this is just a great ult. Supportive ult. It's a good ult you can use for yourself, especially with this build, because you can swap people back into the tornado and onto the seals. So yeah, this is just a really great ult. But it's not crucial to the build. You can run whatever you want, but yeah, that's what we're going to be using though. Now, unlike with most of my builds, the weapon and the ninja tool are both important here. So for the weapon, we're going to be using the Kusanagi sword because of how good the hit stun is. And I just found out recently that when you do the charge attack and then immediately do the tornadoes right after, it's a very smooth transition, like it's a smooth animation, so it makes it so that your tornadoes don't take so long to come out, and plus they're stunned, so they won't be able to hit you out of it anyway. So this one says a weapon based on Sasuke Uchiha's favorite blade. The real Kusanagi sword is a fearsome enchanted blade that's defeated many ninja. And then for the ninja tool, we're using the sealing tag fake, so this is like the most important part of the build. So it says a seal with a sign that causes the target's senses to be blurred. It will explode if any target approaches, dealing damage to all within range. Reset target's substitution stock, and the hit will also have controls reversed for some time. So this will take away their sub and it will leave them confused. So this is kind of like a modified version of my Genjutsu build, because this one also causes mass confusion. You could probably switch this out for the paralysis seal. It might actually work better with the paralysis seal, but I like using these seal tag fakes. And when you put 2 of them down at the same time, they do a pretty decent amount of damage. And the fact that it resets the substitution stock means that they can't sub out of the tornadoes later. Okay, so for the skills, for the top, this is the most important one. So we're going to use all geared up, so this boosts ninja tool damage, so that our seal tag fakes can do even more damage, because they're decent on their own, but this is going to make them even stronger. For the bottom, I use clear mind, but you can kind of switch that up if you want. But it's good to use this because the seal tag fakes come back pretty quickly, so to make it so that rinnegan comes back at about the same speed, we'll use the clear mind to reduce ninjutsu cooldown time. And then as for the accessory, I always use Battle Harden. It instantly refills a set amount of health after you defeat an enemy, so it's always good for the DPS classes. but you can change that up too. The main thing is all geared up the top skill. So yeah, basically how this build is going to work is that you'll put both seal tag fakes down and then swap your enemy with heavenly concealed. And then you want to make sure that they're not too far away from you, so that once you swap them, because the seal tag fake, the stun doesn't last all that long. So once you swap them, you can charge at them and hit them with the charge attack, so they'll be stunned. And then jump and then throw out your tornadoes. And if they are pretty isolated, then all the tornadoes will center on them, and it will do all kinds of damage. It can one shot the squishes if the tornadoes hit exactly right. But even if they don't hit exactly right, you can keep comboing them while they're in the tornadoes and do enough damage to usually like finish people off. And as long as you get the whole thing off, they're still like, they're basically one tap, even if it doesn't go exactly right. So yeah, man, that's the build. I've been having a lot of fun with this. It's really good, especially if you are like coordinated with your team and you guys focus on the people that you swap into the tags. And then with the combination of the tornadoes and your teammates jumping the people, they're just finished pretty much. But you can still you could do a lot of damage with this build just by yourself. So yeah guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to Shinobi strike that like button, subscribe for more content. Let me know what you think of the build. I'll see you guys in the next one. Everybody stay safe out there. Peace and love.